Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm great. Oh, sorry about yesterday. Yeah, I had to delete the Zoom application. It messed up my phone, and I don't use Zoom. So but it's okay. Like, we will still use Upwork. It shouldn't be a problem. I even asked Google. I looked it up. I said, are freelancers allowed to use, are required to use Zoom? They said no. So you should be okay just for the video.
Okay, got it.
Do you want to tell me a little bit about yourself, kind of what you specialize in doing, how many years you've been doing it, what you're best at doing?
Okay, so I am a full-time social media marketer. I am an expert in social media marketing. I do anything to grow the social media platforms for the businesses owners. I manage their social media, uh, grow their followers, create contents, edit videos, and post on the social media platforms. And this probably generates sales for them. So, and also website traffic. Yeah, that's the things I do.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking to utilize, is somebody like yourself for branding and for lead generation. That's what my two big goals are with the social media. I currently use Zoho Social, I believe, and so when I post, through there, it goes to like 5 different platforms. The only one platform it doesn't go to is, they have a new one here that we use, is called Nextdoor, and Nextdoor is really big for generating leads, but it's not anything that you can include on any of the platforms, like every post or Zoho Social, or any of the platforms that post to multiple platforms. I don't think you can include the Nextdoor application, but that's what I'm looking to do, is for branding and for lead generation. So, and it's a lot of posting. I want it to be done automated. I could, write the program myself. I currently work with Vappy and Retail AI and Make.com, and I have Zoho One. So very soon, Zoho will have Zia agents released at the end of the month. They keep emailing me, so we'll see what happens when the Zia agents get released. I don't know how much you know about AI. I don't know, what the future of AI brings, and I don't know what Zoho is going to bring to the table. So, potentially, if Zoho makes the correct right type of offering, we can, we can we can all become, you know, code free devs. Like, we can create our own agents code free on these different platforms, whether it's retail or Vappy or N8N or Zapier or, even Zoho. We can make these and create them for my business, for, businesses that have the need, but then once they work, we can sell them. We can rent them out. We can build a SaaS and target other businesses inside of my industry. And we can continue to maintain my companies, and we can sell the product and rent out the agents to other companies included in a package. And we can sell a SaaS and create a new entity. So, I have a large vision. The social media, to reel back in, the social media is something that I'm not personally big on doing. I will do it for a short time and then I will stop doing it. And that's my problem. It's been my problem. I'm not, like some of these people, they're very like a social butterfly. Like I'm not like a social butterfly type of person. I'm more, like I like to just kind of keep to myself. So unfortunately for me, this type of individual like myself, like this type of, you know, characteristics, it's not good for branding. And so what I'm trying to do is I am now trying to automate that process. So I want to have a very refined daily and it potentially down to the hour within a window of the day for the type of post that is automated. Some of the content can be organic, coming from the business, coming from implementing daily pictures and daily videos. We can strategically lay out the time of day and the day each week, which we post that type of content. We can record reels that are longs. We can plug them into the AI app to cut them into shorts and a bunch of shorts out of it, and AI will do and with whoever that is going to encompass a lot of AI. And so, um, I want to start with trying to do 500 pieces a week, and that'll be 7-day period. So, everything down to the very simple AI, ability of, making sure that everybody who has a birthday that's on, for example, like Facebook, I want to have an AI bot that, goes through and has a index of maybe 5 to 10 responses for birthday saying happy birthday. And I want the AI bot to just say happy birthday to people. So everything down to that, all the way down to the daily posting, whether it's every hour, whatever target we need to achieve to hit our first goal of 500 per week, which would be 500 divided by 7, whatever the hell that comes out to. Then we divide it by the hours of the day and we block out each day. And we say, okay, so in the mornings, starting out the day, Chad wants to open up the Facebook and he wants to have the, respond to anyone's potential birthday, something like that. So, that's kind of like the starting point. And just, from there, we would, start the day with whatever the agenda was for each, blocked out time period for that given day. And the topic, some of these days, I would be okay, like finding a few headlines or newsletters that are already out there. Under make.com, we can create and design, the flow to, go out and search the web and find some existing content from existing influencers in my industry and then reverb it and reword it. And we can, restructure the sentences and then repost it within a matter of milliseconds using AI. So we can have the chat GPT as one of the modules in Make and have it go out and find this, new content that others are writing, bring it into our wheelhouse, rip it apart, restructure and repost. And so that could be, some of the target, we could have some target influencers that we use. And, not everything has to be, around the services we offer, we need to take in consideration we're going to work from the top down. Starting at the top would be our two main goals. And then at the very bottom would be the macro of what we have to do to achieve those two goals. Well, top down would be our two goals are branding. And that's going to be branding myself as a part of this. And then branding Priceless Painting Experience as a part of this. So that all kind of correlates together. You have the branding and then you have lead generation, right? And so those are the two top-down features that we will start to organize the weekly flow. And we'll take into consideration the customer types. So the other lady that is working with me, she's writing 288 blogs. If you go to the website is here. Did I already send it to you? Oh, you can see what it is. It's pricelesspaintingexperience.com. But so we don't have a lot of traffic right now. We pretty much have zero. And so, this is going to be a big part of getting that traffic going, what she's doing, what you're going to do for me, and, creating these types of automations. So that's really what I'm looking for is automated features using AI to do these daily postings. And we'll only increase it from here. And, we have some other strategies we're going to use that tie back to newsletters and blogs. And then, of course, posting our blogs as well. So we won't be just posting the blog, though. You'll be at that point, you would be posting, the automation would be taking the page from our website that the blog is on, and it would be sharing the website page. So not actually, like we're going to copy and paste the words and drop them into social media. It would be sharing the page. But yeah, from the top down, we have to create a strategy for the branding of Chad Lynch, the branding of Priceless Painting Experience, and lead generation. And that's what our overall goal is at the end of the day. So, down to blocking off, certain windows throughout the day. We'll probably say 4-hour windows and how people operate. People consume what we're trying to reach is consumers, right? So consumers, they don't consume services for their house all day long. I mean, God forbid if a hurricane comes through, then I'm sure that, if we have a lot of hurricanes. So when something like that happens, yes, they may think about, obviously their home if it's destroyed. But day to day, we got to find out what those target windows are. I don't know. I'm a blue collar construction worker. Okay. So we're going to have to do research into my market, into my client type, the type of customers that, we're writing stories for. So I'll go ahead and share that with you, because it's important. This content is designed and tapered for the type of customers that we are targeting, especially when we are targeting them for lead generation, right? It's very important how we structure this. So it's going to be branding me, branding the business. That's going to all come into play too. And some of them, we're going to design some of these automations will be designed to just create intrinsic value. And, just value on the business and the value on me without trying to generate revenue or talk about money and not talk about services. So we're going to have a whole strategy on our 7-day process on how this will efficiently brand myself, brand the business, and generate leads. And we'll use ChatGPT to help us. And so that's kind of where I'm at. Let me send you this list of our kind of like is our client types. So we have 6 client types. Those 6 are broad in spectrum. They're broad in general so that they actually, encompass more 6. Send that to you here. So she already has 50 of the stories done, and they're in the spreadsheet now, and she's using originality.ai to help us go through and get some good rankings, and she's going to start posting them soon. So you'll have those stories to feed off of from the website soon. So these are the client types. Those are 6 client types. Let me go back and show you. the types of services. And I'm going to show you a more broadened list of the types of customers. But we only have 6. Keep in mind. This is a more of a broadened list of the types of customers plus the services. So if you go to the website, you can see the services. There's only 4 services.
Yeah. Okay.
Which interior painting, exterior painting, we repaint the cabinets, and then we do some carpentry repair. So we are construction workers. We work inside people's homes. We work in local businesses. So the bottom there, the last message, there's a lot of customer type. All of those are types of customers. We really only have 6, but if you wanted to break it down, this would be a larger list of the client types. And this may be something that would, give you more information if you're, when we're designing a weekly calendar on posting. So that's what we have to design here is a calendar and an attack method on how to attack that calendar, those days, those blocks. So that's really what we're working toward. Keep in mind, if you want to plug everything we've said kind of into ChatGPT with a nice prompt, it would probably help you give you a good rough draft that you can continue to sculpt until you have a really official 7-day schedule and a plan of attack moving forward with the two main goals being branding and lead generation for priceless painting experience. So I think that you have more than enough information. So you asked me one time before, I think you were asking me, what do I want to post, right? You were kind of asking me to, these questions in the beginning. I think you asked me that somewhere. Yeah, you said, and what you want me to create all of the content. So that is your answer. I'm not giving you content. I'm not asking you to create random content. What I'm asking you to do is to create a very structured approach. I want to be meticulous in our attack, and I want to make sure that we come out with a successful outcome. And so when you ask the question, do you want me to create all the content? So really, the content itself is going to be auto-created. So you're not going to create anything. You're going to create the function and the features that allow for our AI automation to create its own content. So, take everything I said here, and kind of like I said, plug it into ChatGPT and come up with a formal game plan. We want to look at this as its own business, right? Look at this social media aspect as its own opportunity because this is its own business feature inside of a company. This is a mechanism that you're doing for me. This mechanism you're doing for me is a business plan, and I can continue to replicate and use this in other companies I have, like Handyman 360, the other company I've had since 2012 that I don't have a website for. So, this is, not a one-time job and a one-time opportunity. This is a one-time chance for you to build a business plan with me on social media, right? And how to attack social media with AI. And this is something that I'm going to continue to use even in short-term rentals. Well, even if I had an apartment building and I need to rent out the fucking apartments, we're going to use digital marketing and social media to rent out those apartments. So social media for me and this type of marketing, I am now approaching it with a business mindset. Like I told you in the beginning, I am not a social butterfly. I don't go onto social media just to talk about my life. It's just because it's just not the nature of me. I'm just not that type of person. But if I design this in a business framework, right, and I make this automated, and I take the work off of the plate, and there's no longer has to be thought about. This will be automated. And so when we have this type of function, it's now a business function, and it's okay for me. I kind of, it's the way I'm dealing with, social media. Social media, I'll tell you that I've been in business for 13 years. The reason that business constantly changes is because it changes based on the consumer and how the consumer consumes the service. And with today, I want to send you a few videos here. This is going to be from Neil Patel. Do you know who Neil Patel is?
No, I don't. I don't have it.
Hang on. You don't know who Neil Patel is? Watch these two YouTubes. So consumers have, for a long time, for the last 20 years, the majority of consumers are consuming services and products from which search engine? You get one chance to get the answer right. Which search engine is the majority of consumers consuming the products and services through for the last 20 years? Give me the answer. You know? You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I'm asking you a question.
Yeah, your internet cut up.
Say what?
Your internet connection is not good. Your voice is coming cut up.
My voice is choppy.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I was asking you is, for the last 20 years, there's only been one place where people are using and going to find services and products. And what is the one place? I'm asking you to give me an answer for the one place. It's very obvious. It's Google.
Yeah, Google.
Okay, that's changing. That's
Yeah,
changing.
now people are going to ChatGPT or AI.
Perplexity is the only one that can do real-time search. But yes, they are going to ChatGPT and to AI, but Perplexity is going to be the one that notches ahead of the rest of the competition. So you need to think about this. SEO is search engine optimization. Facebook interaction and social media interaction is all correlates back to the business if it's done right, and it all helps increase the SEO. But what those videos, what Neil is going to talk about, is it's no longer just the website optimization. So what he has, figured out is it's SEO is search everywhere. Okay. So search everywhere optimization. This is the mindset that I need you to have, especially doing this social media posting, because consumers for the last 20 years have been using majority Google. But the way that consumers are consuming products and services is changing. They're using more TikTok, they're using more Facebook, they're using more Twitter, X, depending on the region of the world they're in and the demographic of person they are, they're using different platforms. Some of them using Perplexity. And when we look at from a business perspective, we look at the analytics on the closing ratio of the type of individual person, the type of demographic, right? When you look at, the amount of volume of leads, and then you look at the end of the day, how many jobs you sold, you're able to, say, well, where did these leads come from? And then you can associate those type of people in a certain demographic. And you can say, well, these leads that are being generated through, whether it's Google, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Perplexity, when you're able to look backwards and you're able to see, the analytics, and you can see the demographics, and you can see which customers are actually buying your services. How are they helping sell your product, right? You can see which ones are actually spending money. And so, maybe, people on Google are price shopping because that's what Google does. It offers you a lot of options. It doesn't make a decision for you. When you think of somebody who's using Perplexity, somebody who is using ChatGPT and AI all the time, AI is making a decision. It's not offering options. So when you have to think about what you're doing at the end of the day. You're doing social media posting. But you got to think about the reason why you are doing social media posting. Every type of customer you work with is a little different. For me, your social media posting for me is for lead generation. So you have to think about the people who are the lead, which is a consumer that's consuming my services, my painting services. So the demographics and the type of customers that come through Perplexity, who are relying on Perplexity to go ahead and make that decision, are probably going to purchase my services and have a higher closing ratio than somebody who's coming through my sales funnel from Google or from Facebook. These people may be more prone to price shopping, right? And now you understand more, from the top down. You may be doing social media, but at the end of the day, you're generating leads, and understanding that demographic and that consumer and how they are consuming the information that you are providing, whether it's you are handwriting it for somebody or whether it is on make.com and an automation, and you have designed the AI to do it. We still need to know how the consumer is consuming. And so, yes, you're going to do, social media posting for me on all of these different platforms. We have to kind of set ourselves up in a way that your post appeal to Perplexity. That maybe there may be a metric in there, a ranking system, a reward that Perplexity is giving out to certain types of services that are, generating social media posts. So, all this ties back to, like, for example, using originality.ai and, following the Google ranking. If you want your website to rank, there's a certain guideline you have to follow in order to rank up. And Google creates that hierarchy. Google says what works, what doesn't work. But that's constantly changing because the way your consumers are consuming. So the people that are using Perplexity, you may need to design your social media post in a slightly different fashion or style so that maybe it hits on the Perplexity metrics. Does that make sense to you what I'm saying? Like, there's, a lot of different, we're in a changing environment right now with AI. And so you making social media posts that appeal to most people on social media, you may have a larger audience that you don't quite understand. It may be the eyes of Grok, the eyes of ChatGPT, and the eyes of Perplexity. And the crawlers that are now coming into the social media world, it may be AI crawlers that are working for Perplexity to bring that information up whenever somebody is inputting information into Perplexity. Now, you don't just have keyword entry through Google search. You now have people asking AI, who is the local painter nearby, and give me the best person. So AI is going to process everything on the internet, not just like Google processing how the website ranks. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't want to make it more convoluted. It's very difficult right now in the digital world just because there's a lot going on. You have social, you have AI, still have number one, which is Google. And, we can continue doing things in the old fashioned way, but I'm going to tell you, we're at the end of that. We're 20 years in. Google's been number one for a long time. AI is here. I just built an application, a website yesterday off of a prompt. A whole business plan, everything off of a prompt. And it did it in like 2 minutes. Whole website, it was code free. I mean, you're talking about the whole 9 yards. It's called lovable.dev. If you check out lovable.dev, it'll create you an application in a minute. And you can even sell the app on the store. So with the amount of change we have going on, it makes things a little convoluted right now. But I think that, AI is going to kind of, notch itself above of Google eventually. Right now, the way I see the ranking is Google still holds number one. I think social media is number two, what you're doing. But I think that AI is right under you, under the number two. It's in number three. And very soon it's going to take straight to the top. And that's when people stop using Google as a search engine, and they literally in the masses then the fucking masses of people will start going straight to ChatGPT, into Perplexity, and they will just say, hey, find me a painter nearby who has a good reputation, who's been in business 10 years. And literally it will give them like 2 options. And it's not going to be just giving them local painters. It's going to give them what they're asking for exactly. And that's the difference between Google providing a couple of painters and Perplexity giving you 2 people that you requested. So that's what we need to associate our post with. We're going to be automating these posts, which means that we're going to get a chance to prompt our modules inside of the ChatGPT module inside of Make, whatever the hell we're doing. We're gonna do you understand API? You know how to use APIs across the board?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's what we're doing. So right now we just have to, if you want to reel everything I said, reel it back in. I will send this recording to you and you'll be able to process it again. Here soon, I think Zia, I have to add the feature. Zia will be able to give you a summarized notes and transcript. But for now, you just have to probably watch it again. And but yeah, that's what you need to do is kind of get the business plan together for the social media aspect of Priceless Painting Experience. And moving forward, no business anymore should ever be doing lead generation without branding. It's very important to make sure that we're branding the business, but it's also going to brand me, because that way anything I do, anything I spin off of this, any other service or company I associate with automatically ties back to all of the old traffic and everything else that I've done. And so this branding from the top down, the goals here are, first thing you need to do is it's the branding, and then you're going to look at your 7 days in your calendar. You're going to break it apart in 4-hour windows. I mean, you don't have to make a post between 12. I would say don't worry about making a post between like 12 o'clock and 8 o'clock in the morning. Probably not necessary unless you wanted to, I don't know. What is the day? 24 hours, 24 hours in a day. Let's do the math real fast. Let me see. I'm going to get to my calculator. All right, so 507 days is going to be 71, so call it 72 posts a day. So 72 times 7 is actually going to be 504. So 504, so it's going to be 72 per day. Let's go ahead and say 24 hours divided by 72. So it's saying 0.33. So every third of an hour, so right around every third of an hour, so every 20 minutes, right? 60 minutes in an hour. So if we did that every 20 minutes, we'd have 3. So 3 times 24 is what? So 24 times 3 is 72. Oh, that's exact. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be creating a post every 20 minutes. That'll give us 3 posts in an hour. That'll give us 72 posts in a day. Make sure you're writing this down, okay?
Yeah.
72 posts in a day, and that'll give us 504 posts in a week. So every 20 minutes, we need one to come out. And when it comes out, it's going to go across all platforms. In the beginning, we can make it all the same posting. I'm not sure how the automation changes. I don't want to add too many details. It can be the same exact post that we push across all platforms. But we are going to have to do an update very soon. And that first update will be us making sure that each post is different on all platforms. That way we're not pushing the same story across 6 platforms. We're pushing 6 different stories. And it'd be very easy to, just manipulate the story a little bit, or the message. And it does these posts, I'm going to tell you, these posts that you're making, we're going to need to research the size based on the topic. Is this something that's branded to Chad, branded to PPE, or is this a lead generation topic? And, maybe sometimes this shit is only 1 or 2 sentences, right? this is not have to be stories. That's not what we're doing here. We are not blogging. I have the blogger. So don't think that you're writing 500 words. That's not 500 words. That's not what we're doing. Like, we're creating discussion. We need to be human with it. I don't want to get too in depth. I want to stay a little bit wide with this one, kind of wide in general on a bunch of different things. We don't want to really dive too deep. I think the blogs dive deep. And so, well, we're already going to dive deep because we're staying inside of my industry, which is painting. So we are going to dive deep in certain aspects of that, with pricing and services, but we're not going to create long stories with lots of characters, lots of words. We're not going after word count here. In saying that, take it with a grain of salt, because you do need to know what our target word count is to help make this success. If there are those certain measures and metrics, then we need to follow them, but we're not blogging. I want to keep it as small and short as possible. So, and then a lot of times too, with our certain topics, depending on the day and the block of the window, we will then include links to the website. When you're making a discussion, we want to provide backlink, and we want to provide linkage as much as fucking possible. Remember, this is for lead generation, right? When you look at the website, every page on there has contact us. There's a few different like words on the button, but it basically is the contact form. They basically are trying to turn everybody into a lead. So if we get them to the website, then they're going to see that little button more. And so, yeah, we want to include linkage as much as possible. And then, maybe we have a day where we do funny stuff. Like right now, I use AI to answer the phones, and it's you'd be very surprised, but I have some very funny people in this world calling me, and they are being weird and funny with the damn AI. Like, it almost makes me want to just post it daily and just let the world hear what these fucking people are saying. Sometimes it's intriguing, sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's weird. But what it does is it would just help an audience. It would just let people know, like, wow, like, Priceless Painting is answering the phones with AI. And it just creates more of a, just something different, right? It's just a way to post. So one of our postings could be us just posting our actual discussions. So, another thing too is, posting how AI helps us. Like, when you put together, your initial rough draft on your daily schedule, we're going to update it. I'm going to look at it before you start doing any posting. I'm going to look at what you've created for your calendar, for your schedule. And, I want to make sure it includes AI. We want to talk about AI. We want to talk about how we're using AI. We want to talk about how it's helping us. And when you create the prompts for our flow, it's going to continue to do that same damn flow at the same damn time every week forever. Like, we can create it to run all year, but we want to, we don't want to just, like, make a bunch of the same content. So, I think I've said enough. I don't want to take too much of your time. But we just want to make sure that we have a game plan together. So that's what I want you to build first. And I'll send this video over to you so you can review it and just help you kind of make sure to build the right game plan. You can review everything I mentioned.
Yeah, okay.
And if you have any questions, you can always send me a message, or we can have another meeting.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So when do you think you'll be able to put something together for me that I can have to look at?
Okay, so I will come up with the plan first, and I will send it over to you through Upwork. Then we can go through that. Yeah.
Yeah, the plan will kind of be our the plan is our plan, but it's also our contract too. So, we'll convert it. Once we have a plan, we'll then take everything we'll copy paste, and we'll ask ChatGPT to, make sure to kind of sculpt it into a contract now. And we'll take that next step. But right now, keep it in the plan stages and get it back to me, and let's see what you got. When do you think you'll have that available?
By the end of the day.
Oh, okay, cool. You're going to have it today. Perfect. I look forward to it.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
All right. Thank you so much. And I'll respond through Upwork, and then we'll go to the next step from there.
Yeah, sure.
All right. I'm going to send over this recording through Upwork.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks. Bye.